President Trump makes his state visit to the UK, which was confirmed today for early June, he'll undoubtedly be met by a raft of demonstrations. But according to the author, Bret Easton Ellis, best known for his novel American Psycho, the president's critics, both here and in the US, need to calm down. Earlier, I spoke to him about his new book called White, in which he takes on millennials and social media. But I started by asking if he understands why some people don't want Trump to visit.
Of course I do. I talk about Trump a bit in this book, and I take a kind of laissez-faire attitude about Trump. I don't let myself get trumped by his existence, which a lot of people on the left, a lot of liberals, certainly my partner has. They've let Donald Trump define their existence, and he's caused them an immense amount of pain. And I understand why. But I also think that there's another way to deal with Trump, and that's in a very neutral, chill manner. And if you want to get rid of Trump, and if you want to oppose him and resist him, well, find someone who will beat him in a campaign and vote him out.
But can you be chill, as you put it, about, racism, misogyny? In the book, I was quite struck by how, to use your words again, how laissez-faire you were about his remarks on Mexicans being rapists, for example.
Yes, he said it once. He said it once, and he didn't even say.
Said it,
he didn't even say that. He said they're sending people who are rapists or
drug
whatever.
dealers, criminals.
Said it once in June of 2015, and we're still talking about that. That's getting trumped. That's part of the problem.
He's also talked about banning Muslims. He's also joked about groping women. I mean, there's quite a long list of...
There is, and I don't like a lot of that stuff at all. And I'm not, first of all, I'm not pro-Trump. And I think part of the problem with the left is that if you are complaining about people who are hysterical about Trump, and you didn't vote for him, and you don't support him, and you don't believe in a lot of his policies, you are somehow colluding with him. You are somehow part of the problem. I find that hysterical. That's absolutely not how I see it.
Social media made Trump in many ways, and a lot of the book talks about social media, and you rail against, for example, the cult of likability, as you call it, on Instagram. But isn't there, in some sense, wanting to be liked is a positive thing? It makes the world go round.
To a degree, yes. But when it becomes an obsession, you become crazy. So I do agree. Yes, everyone wants to be liked to some degree, but when you want to be adored and when you want to show off a fake self in order to be adored, I do think that there's a bit of mania to that, a bit of a psychosis to that.
Do you ever block people on Twitter?
Never. I have never blocked a person on Twitter, and I have had a lot of bad stuff thrown at me. I've had Twitter mobs after me. What I believe most about Twitter, and what so worries me about this culture, this puritanical culture we're in now, where everyone's treated like a child, who can't hear this, who can't see this, who is the notion that free speech is eroding in our country, and I hate that.
But when does freedom of speech become freedom to abuse? Is there a line to be crossed? Is there a point where you do actually have to block someone?
No, we have to accept that. If we accept freedom of speech, we have to accept whatever that entails.
What about when it's an army of trolls or bots, being misogynistic about, someone, or homophobic about you? I mean,
it's really
isn't that a line there?
But is misogyny and homophobia really the worst things out there? I mean, I really wonder sometimes. We make such a huge deal out of this. Everything's misogynist. Everything's racist. I've been called homophobic, and I'm gay.
But if you're a black woman and you're constantly getting racist, misogynist stuff on Twitter, that would get wearing, to say the least, wouldn't it?
Look, we all bear our burdens. I get so much crap on Twitter. So much crap on Twitter. Probably much more than that black woman probably gets.
Really?
Well, they'd be kicked off. Those people would be kicked off. You can't really be that horrible. You can't be that racist on Twitter without people calling you out and having your things canceled and having your account blocked. I don't think that's happening. That's not happening anymore. I think what I'm getting is actually, I get tons of crap thrown at me, and none of these people, ever get blocked. But to suggest that because I'm white and male that I have some kind of free pass on social media is not the case. It's actually the opposite. I don't get a free pass.